Okay, so I have to tell you about the message I got last week that genuinely stopped me mid-scroll. Someone wrote in and said their dermatologist looked at their skincare shelf, 12 products, all the ones we have all been told to buy, and said something I was not expecting. She said most of it was actively working against her, not neutral, not wasted money, working against her skin. And I sat with that for a while, because I think a lot of us, myself included at one point, built our entire routine around the idea that 10 steps was the gold standard. The Korean 10-step routine became this thing everyone aspired to. More serums, more essences, more layers. And what almost nobody talks about is that the version of K-beauty that actually works, the one that produces the skin you are trying to copy, was never about 10 steps. It was about something completely different. And once I explain what that actually is, you are going to look at your bathroom shelf differently. Here is the thing nobody explains about why 10 steps became the standard in the first place. It was never really about the number 10. It became a marketing artifact, a way to sell more individual products under the umbrella of a beauty philosophy that was actually about something much simpler. The real principle underneath authentic Korean skincare is not volume. It is barrier health. Everything else is downstream of that one concept. And here is what most Western interpretations of K-beauty got completely backwards. They took the multi-step structure and filled it with active ingredients, retinols, acids, vitamin C, multiple exfoliants, stacked one on top of another, every single day, without rest. That is not what supports a barrier. That is what destroys one. So if your shelf currently has more than 5 products that you are using daily, I want you to actually picture what your skin barrier has been dealing with every morning and every night for however long you have been doing this. Step 1 of the real 4-step method is the one that gets skipped constantly, and it is honestly the most important. It is double cleansing, but done correctly, which is not what most people think it means. An oil-based cleanser first, to dissolve sunscreen, oil, and the day's buildup without stripping anything. Then a low pH, gentle water-based cleanser second, to clean without disrupting your skin's natural acid mantle. Here is the part that changes everything. Most cleansers sold widely have a pH between 7 and 9, which is significantly more alkaline than your skin's natural pH of around 4.5 to 5.5. Every time you cleanse with something too alkaline, you are temporarily stripping the very barrier that Step 3 and Step 4 are trying to support. And this matters more than it sounds like it should, because your acid mantle is not just a passive layer sitting on top of your skin. It is an active defense system made up of sebum, sweat, and beneficial bacteria that work together to keep harmful microorganisms out and keep moisture locked in. Strip that mantle repeatedly with high pH cleansers, and you are not just causing temporary tightness. You are disabling a defense mechanism every single time you wash your face, forcing your skin to spend energy rebuilding something that should have stayed intact. Over weeks and months, that constant rebuilding is exactly what shows up as sensitivity, redness, and a skin barrier that reacts to products it used to tolerate perfectly fine. Check the back of your cleanser bottle, or look up its pH right now. If it foams aggressively and feels tight afterward, that tightness is not clean, it is damage. The oil cleanser step specifically exists to remove oil-based impurities like sunscreen and sebum using oil itself through a chemistry principle called like dissolves like, which means your water-based cleanser afterward has far less work to do and can be significantly gentler while still leaving your skin completely clean. Step 2 is where I think the biggest misunderstanding lives, and it is hydration, but layered completely differently than most people assume. Not a heavy cream applied once. A light, watery toner or essence applied to slightly damp skin, patted in rather than rubbed, allowed to fully absorb before anything else touches your face. The reason this step exists and why skipping it changes everything downstream is that hydrated skin absorbs subsequent products more efficiently and evenly. Dry skin creates patchy absorption, which is why so many people experience uneven results from the same products their friends swear by. The friend's skin was hydrated first. Theirs was not. This step takes 15 seconds, and most 10-step routines bury it under 6 other things that dilute its actual purpose. Step 3 is the one that actually targets concerns, and here is the part that is going to feel uncomfortable if you currently have a drawer full of actives. You get to choose one. Just one targeted treatment per session, not 3 serums layered together hoping for compound benefits, because that is not how skin chemistry works. Stacking a vitamin C serum with a retinol with an acid exfoliant in the same routine does not triple your results. It overwhelms your barrier and frequently causes the exact redness, sensitivity, and dullness that sends people shopping for more products to fix a problem their own routine created. And here is the part that almost nobody explains when they tell you to simplify. It is not just about avoiding irritation in the moment. Every time you layer competing actives, your skin barrier has to process multiple chemical signals simultaneously. Different pH levels, different penetration depths, different cellular responses all happening at once. Your skin does not get to fully respond to any single ingredient because it is too busy trying to manage the conflict between all of them. This is why people with genuinely complicated, multi-step routines often have the most reactive, unpredictable skin, while people using 2 or 3 well-chosen products see consistent, compounding improvement over time. Pick the concern that matters most right now: hydration, brightness, texture, whatever it is, and give that one ingredient room to actually work without 6 competitors fighting it for absorption. Alternate concerns on different nights if you have more than one priority. Vitamin C in the morning for brightness and antioxidant protection. A gentle retinol alternative 2 or 3 nights a week for texture. Never all of it stacked into a single session out of fear that less is somehow leaving results on the table. Step 4 is the step that real Korean skincare philosophy treats as non-negotiable, and that most Western routines treat as optional: moisture sealing. Not a heavy, occlusive cream necessarily, but a final layer specifically chosen to lock in everything underneath it and prevent the transepidermal water loss that happens overnight or throughout the day, regardless of how good your previous steps were. Skip this step and you have done 3 steps of work that evaporates before it can do anything. This is the step where slugging belongs, if your skin can tolerate it. A final seal that turns everything underneath into something your skin actually gets to use, instead of losing to the air. And here is what happens when you switch from 10 unfocused steps to these 4 precise ones. Your skin barrier, which has likely been under low-grade chronic stress from overexfoliation and ingredient stacking, finally gets the chance to repair. This typically takes about 2 to 3 weeks to become visible, which is also why so many people abandon the simplified approach too early, expecting overnight results from a process that is fundamentally about repair, rather than instant transformation. But once that barrier repairs, something interesting happens. The same active ingredients that were causing irritation in a crowded routine suddenly start working the way they were designed to, because they finally have a stable foundation to work from instead of inflamed, compromised skin trying to process 6 things at once. So here is what I actually want you to do. Tonight, look at every single product on your shelf and sort them into these 4 categories: cleanse, hydrate, treat, seal. If something does not clearly belong in one of those 4 functions, set it aside for now. Use only what survives that sort for the next 3 weeks. Not because more is always wrong, but because most of us have been adding without ever subtracting, and our skin has been quietly paying the difference. The real K-beauty secret was never about doing more than everyone else. It was about understanding exactly what your skin needs and giving it nothing extra to fight through to get there.